Hi everyone, and welcome to the Pisces Lunar Eclipse All Signs Forecast. This is the last of Pisces eclipses in a series of Pisces Virgo eclipses that have started in 2024. So it is closing off a cycle and also bringing back something from the past. Why do we say bringing back? I will explain all of that and more later. But bigger than this, on the day of the eclipse, we have a Mercury Cazimi, when Mercury, messenger of the gods, goes into the heart of the sun. This is also a really big deal. And with this, we have a Uranus T-square. All of this makes this a superpowered, supercharged eclipse ruled by Jupiter, king of the gods. So this eclipse for a lot of people is bringing fated change. The doors of fate are opening. The levers of fate are being pushed and pulled. And for a lot of people, this is bringing very sudden change with Uranus here, bringing messages, bringing news with Mercury at play, and perhaps bringing something that's unfinished from the last 2 years, with it being the last Piscean eclipse. Welcome. If you don't know me, I'm Phoenician Priestess. My name is Petra. I do ancient, advanced, Western astrology, and you can always work with me one-on-one. I do all sorts of different reading types, from natal to transits to birth time rectification if you don't know your birth time, to my favorite relationship, couple astrology, soulmate astrology, to unlocking your money codes, and all of that and more. You can find the link in my bio or go on PhoenicianPriestess.com. And if this video is helpful at all, if you're still watching, I would so appreciate a like, a subscription. It helps me out so much and is motivating to keep doing videos. And if you have any questions at all, please leave comments in the video and I will try my best to get back to you. And without further ado, let's kick it off. As always, I really recommend listening to all of it, even if you're very new to astrology and some of it might sound a little bit gibberish-like at the beginning when we go into the aspects part, but I will break it up for you in the all signs in terms of how it applies to your chart. Now, really important to know, please prioritize listening to your rising sign. Your rising sign, you can find free rising sign calculators online. Remember, this is a general reading. Eclipses are the doors of fate. They come every 6 months. They really change up things in people's lives. So to really understand where this is happening in your life, I really recommend meeting with a professional astrologer, me or otherwise. To get the most out of a general reading, listen to your rising sign first and foremost. And then after that, you can listen to your sun sign. Then after that, you can listen to your moon. I also recommend listening to different astrologers because when it comes to these general readings, there's only so much that we can fit within that time frame. Okay, so here is the Pisces eclipse happening at 4 degrees of Pisces. Now, it is a lunar eclipse. That's what a full moon eclipse is, meaning the moon is in exactly 180-degree opposition with the sun. The sun is here at 4 degrees of Virgo. What is this next to the sun? It is Mercury. Mercury is the messenger of the gods, okay? Which means that this eclipse is also activating Mercury exactly, which will be at 4 degrees of Virgo, into the heart of the sun in what we call a Cazimi. Now, when Mercury goes into the heart of the sun, the messenger of the gods goes into life itself and then is released, you can absolutely expect that this eclipse has some kind of a story of movement, of a message, of information, of a breakthrough, something like that happening. In Gemini at 5 degrees, we have Uranus in Gemini in a square to the eclipse. Uranus is bringing an element of sudden, okay? Uranus is surprise. Uranus can be chaos. Uranus is sudden breakthroughs. Uranus is things that are unexpected. Where all of this will be hitting specifically in your chart, we'll talk about, but that is also bringing a superpowered energy into this eclipse. Now, we said that Mercury is in Virgo. Here's the thing. The sign of Virgo is actually ruled by Mercury, which means Mercury is in its domicile. It's happy there, if you want to understand what that means. Okay, Mercury rules Virgo. Mercury is in Virgo, touching the sun, being activated by this eclipse in its home country. So that is bringing an essence of favor in times of communication, favorability in this message, a kind of luck in this message, something good with this message. People are encouraged with this time. It's a very harmonious energy. Mercury, Hermes, is also the trickster god, right? And likes to send signs to you in different ways. And so you might see this energy activated a lot as well. Now, in my last eclipse video, 2 weeks ago, we had the solar eclipse in Leo. I talked about what we were having a big stellium in Leo, which is relevant to this eclipse as well, and how that ties to the soulmate story. And that's because we have Aphrodite here at 16 degrees and Psyche here at 16 degrees touching each other, which is awakening this archetype. To really fully understand that, please go watch that video. I will link it in the description below. Maybe I'll even throw it in the comments, because they are still exactly in conjunction. Not just that, but Jupiter is closing in here. They were in an exact conjunction before. Jupiter is at 12 degrees and Jupiter rules this eclipse, because the eclipse is in Pisces and the ruler of Pisces is Jupiter, who is close here. Jupiter also played a part in the story, which is why important, as did Mercury. So we are still in that same storyline, right? Where Jupiter is involved in the story towards the end of this marriage soul soulmate journey, and is asking Mercury, messenger of the gods, to go send out a message to the gods and bring forth what is needed to bring forward the soulmate. To really understand this, watch the video. All I will tell you, once you've watched that video, you'll understand more that this eclipse is furthering that storyline because of the archetypes and the theme players at play. So if you are on this soulmate, marriage soul, divine union journey, A, watch the video. B, what you can understand from this eclipse is it's the a second part of that piece, right? So in that last video, in the last eclipse, it was really about the feminines in the collective having this realization of, I've done enough. I need to pull back my energy and sort of very much let it go from frozen energy, right? And very much kind of, I'm done doing things for this. And this could apply in the females of the collective, whether they are singled or partnered or married or whatever. There's this theme of, am I the one driving forward? There's this theme of learning. There's nothing else you should do. You've already gone through the trials. Let the masculine now act and do. To understand more, go watch that last eclipse video. Just know that this one is likely, with how Uranus is playing part and with Mercury now coming in Cazimi, this one is likely to now bring a lot of change. Eclipses are the doors of fate. They are very, very, very major. They're like a 10x superpower of a full moon. When they happen, you feel it. The levers it will pull in your chart is going to depend on what you have going on in your chart. Now, the ruler of this eclipse, Jupiter, is in Leo, and it's bringing a very fiery energy to an otherwise water, and to an otherwise water eclipse. That is, of course, with the sun having an earth element here. So Leo is a sign of action. Leo is a sign of passion. Leo is a sign of truth. Jupiter is very happy in Leo because Jupiter is about expansion and Jupiter is about truth. And Pisces relates to the other realms, relates to psychic ability, relates to emotions, relates to romance, relates to poetry. Whereas Virgo, where the sun is, where we're having this Cazimi, is about being analytical, is about planning, is about reality, is about grounding things into earth. So this is a very potent mix that actually makes things happen. It's a mix where you're being guided. You're being guided by the stars, by God, by the universe, by your angels, by your own intuition. You're receiving downloads. You're receiving hunches. Your emotions, if there's something you've been ignoring, are getting so active that they're impossible to ignore. And then that Leonine energy, the ruler of this eclipse being in Leo, is pushing you, pushing others to take action when maybe otherwise they would have not done that, right? To do something with all of that. And with the sun being in Virgo, asking for grounding, for real stability, for real planning, for real action. And don't forget, Uranus is again squaring both the sun and the moon here as a part of this eclipse. So it's being activated as well. Sudden change, fast movement. So if they're, depending on where this is in your chart, we'll talk about it more, or even on the soulmate story, right? This is what's bringing sudden change, things moving a lot faster you didn't realize. Messages, Mercury with Uranus here, that square. Messages coming out of nowhere. Mercury, thought, sudden change in how we think, breakthroughs. With this eclipse, right, there might even be what seems like external chaos to get the doors of fate that have to move moving. Now let's talk a little bit about eclipse timing so you understand how this all unfolds and plays out. So this lunar eclipse in Pisces is happening, depending on where you are in the world, on August 27th or August 28th. For me, based mainly in California, it is happening on August 27th at 9:18 p.m. PDT, which would make it 12:18 a.m. of the 28th EDT, which in a lot of the rest of the world, including Europe, Middle East, East Asia, etc., it is happening on the 28th. And it is happening at 4 degrees of Pisces. So eclipses happen around every 6 months, and they happen in pairs. Each eclipse, number 1 and number 2, are around 2 weeks apart, and it's full moon, new moon, full moon, right? Meaning it can be either in any order. And so the last ones we had were in February and March. And what you'll notice with eclipses is you'll start feeling the energy building up before, and the events related to the eclipse can really start a month and a half before. I will say in practice as an astrologer, what I've noticed with my clients after years, but they will continue. The full story doesn't unfold until 6 months. So this means that it's not like a one day, one done and done deal. Even if you have an actual event related to the nature of the eclipse that I described to you on the day of the actual eclipse, it doesn't mean it's a one and done deal, especially like look how many layers I talked about when talking about eclipses, but it's more than that. It's because these things can sort of play out. Maybe you get a little touch here, maybe a seed is planted and boom, the full storyline blooms later on, but you will somehow feel the topics relevant in your psyche, in your intuition, in your energy building up before and then really blooming after. Now, some things can happen on the exact day. Absolutely. Honestly, I've seen it. But then a lot of people get disappointed when something doesn't happen on the exact day. Yet energetically, they would have been psychically, intuitively, they would have been feeling the themes of the eclipse building up. And for a lot of clients, I've even seen the week before, 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before, the changes contracted in the eclipse in their chart starting from then. So really, but the most potent window does tend to be a month and a half before to a month and a half after. I used to say a month, but really what I've seen in practice is it's like a month and a half and a month and a half. In terms of what feels the most intense, like feeling it in your body, is really the 2 weeks before to the 2 weeks after. And of course, the closer you are to the eclipse itself, the most potent, okay? And the last eclipse we had, the solar eclipse in Leo that happened 2 weeks ago, between that one and this one is the most potent window because it's the window between the two eclipses. It's really this massive doorway where the energy from both of them are layering on top. Okay, but I will say because Uranus is playing a part of this eclipse, because Mercury has having a Cazimi in its domicile of Virgo with this eclipse, I am predicting that for the majority of people, you will understand what this eclipse is about within a week of it for majority. But if you don't, it will unfold for you within the months after. So don't worry, hold your horses, don't sweat it. I say this as an astrologer, but even for me, right? Like I'll look at what's happening in my chart. I'll predict something when it doesn't happen on the day. I get annoyed. So and I know, and I tell my clients not to, so I understand it's totally human. Okay, that's it. Without further ado, let's kick it off. Remember your rising, your sun, and your moon, since this is a general reading. And if you want more in depth, because eclipses do play out for 6 months, they do change your life. They are life changing. Then then check out my link and you can schedule a reading with me. Lastly, I did forget to add, especially with a Pisces eclipse, very watery, very emotional, especially with Leo ruling it, very fiery. You may be feeling certain symptoms, especially where it hits in your chart. You could be feeling difficulty sleeping, waking up at night, getting a lot of downloads, a lot of intuitive hits, feeling very hyper emotional, very sensitive. With Uranus playing here, you could be feeling very kind of like explosive, suddenly doing things you wouldn't do. And you know, with the fire element of Jupiter, the ruler of it being in Leo, some of you may be having tempers brought on by the sensitivity that Pisces brings on. Some of you could be feeling like, especially if you are tending to be more analytical in that Virgo side, this eclipse will be pushing you to be more emotional, more sensitive. And so all of this is very normal. Some people also feel it in their body, fatigue, brain fog, etc. So just know that that's the normal physical symptoms for eclipses. Okay, starting with Aries. Aries risings, Aries suns, Aries moons. Welcome to the Lunar Eclipse in Pisces forecast. For all the really detailed info, please do check out the beginning, including the update on what this means for those on the Soulmate, Marriage Souls, Divine Union, Twin Flame, whatever you want to call it, journey, because this eclipse is activating this story archetype in the collective via the Eros and Psyche myth. I have a whole video on that you can watch, but a little bit on that in the beginning of this one, and video for that specifically linked below. Okay. And I explain why this eclipse is explosive. Now, for you, this Pisces eclipse is happening in your 12th house, where the ruler of this eclipse, Jupiter, will be in your 5th house in Leo, and the sun, the opposition of this eclipse, which is activating directly, can't speak, Mercury Cazimi is happening in your 6th house. But this is all happening with a T-square with Uranus and Gemini. So what does this all mean? For you, Aries, this could be the energy building up to this, or the week of, or the day of, could feel very strong spiritually or mentally. It will feel more mentally strong, as in hard, if you're not understanding what the universe is trying to download into your brain, into your essence, into your spirit. If you're like really not on your spiritual path, you're not like opening your spiritual pathways, then it's going to feel more mentally and emotionally hard. But what that mental and emotional hard actually is spiritual. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of spiritual. It's a lot of God and universe trying to connect with you somehow, trying to connect with you somehow to help push you in your own sovereignty, Jupiter 5th house, push you in your own passion, push you in where you're supposed to be doing in life, and push you into grounding a lot of things into the actual physical and actual action, 6th house Virgo. And if you're not taking the message, the nudging of the universe, then it's going to feel emotionally hard. It's going to feel like you're in your head. It's going to feel like you're in a panic. It's going to feel all of these things. For some of you though, you're closing off the journey of having done that in the past and no longer doing it anymore. For some of you, this eclipse could be the breakthrough where you no longer do that, the breakthrough where you feel more in control of your mental state, where you feel more in control of your emotional state, where you finally break that pattern of your mind, your fears, your lack of faith being your own worst enemy, where you finally break that pattern of not grounding plans into reality, where you finally break that pattern and understand, wait, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know why things are happening. I know what passion I want to work towards. I know what brings me joy. I know what brings me fun, etc. Now, for a lot of this could have been brought on by some kind of news that you received, or you receive, or you will receive, depending on the timeline of this, some kind of news or something that happened with your siblings, or if you went on a trip that was kind of around you, or a message you received, or some kind of breakthrough in that sense, right? Some kind of message you received, something in your sibling's life, something in a course you got, something you saw on social media, some kind of change of thought. This all could have been a part that triggered a lot of this. Okay. What a lot of this eclipse is asking you to do is to really ground things. Yes. To be led by intuition, to open yourself to spirit, to open yourself to the downloads that are coming through, to open yourself to the passion, to the things that you've always wanted to do, to surrender, to also have faith, but ground it all. This is a time as well where things like being in your body, having a routine, while simultaneously having some kind of a spiritual opening as well. Those two together, the balance between those two will help you a lot. For a lot of you, you could suddenly be having a new rental change, or a change to do with something like that. For some of you, you could be getting a car. These are other small alternative meanings. What else? For some of you, this eclipse is also illuminating the importance, something to do with your body and your health, and that tie with the spirit and the mind, and your fears, your own doubt, etc. And this eclipse is illuminating the importance of how they are symbiotic together and how they connect together. For some of you, of course, some of you could have some news come in about a job, or change to do with the job, or communication to do with that as well, or news come in to do with health, to do with your body, to do with something like that. That it could be having a symbiotic meaning relationship with the things that are happening to you mentally and your mind and your emotional state and your connection to faith, to spirit, and to God. Some of you, you're going to be having for sure change in how you view and approach your work life, your daily life, your body, your everyday routine. And so a lot of you could be having big aha moments when it comes to that. Okay, Aries, that's all I have for you. Moving on. Hello, Taurus suns, Taurus moons, Taurus risings. Welcome to your forecast for this Pisces eclipse. This eclipse is happening in your 11th house. Just a reminder that my forecasts, though general and summarized to be on YouTube, are still advanced and very layered in nature. To understand all the things that are coming in to your all signs prediction, listen to the beginning to understand all those aspects, including the special flavors of this eclipse and how this ties to the unfolding soulmate, divine union, mirrored souls story, if that is something that relates to you on your path. Without further ado, let's jump into this. Taurus, this eclipse is bringing some kind of fated change, destiny-related change, when it comes to your community, it comes to the how you feel in terms of where you belong, to your friends, to your dreams, to your long-term goals. And a lot of this push is coming from you trying to understand what is home, what is family, what is meaning, what is belonging, where do I belong, where do I feel emotionally safe, one of those things, or changes to do in there, or a seeking of expansion, of yearning coming from there. For a lot of you too, around this time, what could be really propelling this, if you haven't felt it yet, then something you will be feeling, is a sudden change, breakthrough, or breaking down, or new like energy beginning that has to do with what you value, or your assets, your net worth, your money, your real estate, your home, your financial well-being, your investments, and things like that. This eclipse may be pushing you to reevaluate a dream or a goal or a life mission that you've had, connecting you a lot to your intuition and to downloads and to your passion, and to what joy you had when you were a child that maybe you've abandoned. For a lot of you, this could be a completion of a long-term vision that you've had. But for some of you, this could be completion of a pattern where you abandoned your inner child's dreams, where you abandoned what you really loved for whatever reason. And this could be ending that pattern. The doors of fate and the levers of fate that come with eclipses could be doing something to change that, so you no longer do that. For a lot of you, you could be having sudden realizations to do with, you know what, my friends are maybe not my friends, or you know what, I want to be surrounded by a community that can fuel my passion, fuel my dreams, fuel my ambitions, fuel my goals, right? Or that maybe have more in common with me, that maybe align with what is important to me, what matters to me, with what I want to build, with how much money I want to have. For some of you, you could be receiving a message from an ex-romantic fling, or receiving a message from someone to do with some of these passions, hobbies, and dreams from the past, or having a sudden breakthrough that really unlocks how you think of love, how you think of fun, how you think of passion, how you think of dreams, how you think of all of these things. Some of you could also be experiencing sudden change to do with your money, your real estate, your stocks, things like this. And some of you could be buying or purchasing a new home or moving into a new property. And somehow that's what's causing you to ask these questions of where do I belong, etc. Some of you could be meeting very aligned people that feel very aligned to a spiritual expansion that is on the horizon. For some of you, decisions you've been making about home, about where you belong, about your passions, about who you surround yourself with, about what your dreams are could be having a positive impact, or could be leading to a breakthrough in how you approach passion and dating and entrepreneurship, and all of these things. For some of you, this is a smaller number. You could be getting good news or a breakthrough if you've been trying to get pregnant or to do with pregnancy. Okay, that's all I have for you, Taurus. If you have any questions, please let me know below. And don't forget to listen to Rising, Sun, and Moon. Hello and welcome, Gemini. Gemini suns, moons, and risings. Welcome to your Pisces lunar eclipse all signs forecast. Please listen to the beginning where I dive into the many layers of this forecast that are informing your advanced, accurate, and ancient prediction that you'll get today. And please also make sure to listen to your sun, moon, and rising. Like and subscribe if you haven't. It helps me out so much and is the most wonderful way to say thank you. Besides, of course, if you want to leave a comment, I'd love to see it. And if you have any questions about any of this, please leave a comment below. Okay, so for you, Gemini, this eclipse is bringing a change in terms of your career, your leadership, etc. There's something fated happening in terms of that. And a lot of this is being driven by how a sudden change or a sudden breakthrough and how you view yourself and how you view your sense of self and what matters to you and improvements of that, and you trying to understand, what do I want to leave behind in this world? Who am I really, right? Who am I really? And am I doing things that really are connected with who I am and what I want to be? For others of you, this is being also driven by changes in thought, overall thought and overall mindset, and changes in perhaps your everyday life and a communication that you might be receiving, messages you might be receiving. And then for some of you, this is coming through changes in your home, right? This could look like maybe if you were married, suddenly you're divorced. It's bringing along all these questions of, what do I do in my career, purpose? Should I be doing something else? Is there any breakthrough coming here? Etc. What is the meaning of home, etc. Some of you could be getting a promotion. Some of you could be losing a job. You could be getting laid off, but it all would be happening to propel you to things that are more aligned with who you are. Some of you could be getting, did I say getting a new job? You could be getting a new job. Some of you could be changing careers entirely. Some of you could be exploring new career ventures, and some of you could be feeling that Piscean intuitive pull or getting a lot of downloads. If you haven't done that yet, but you've been thinking about it, then this is the time when you'll be getting a lot of guidance in terms of when you know, in what direction you might want to take any of that. For some of you, you could be having a sudden breakthrough in how you look and how you carry yourself. And this could somehow play a part again. Like maybe you suddenly decide, wait, this is what I want to create in this world. This is how I think I should be desired. I'm going to carry myself in a different way. And this leads to you applying to a job or asking for a raise that you never would have done before, or getting a new leadership position. Some of you, your expansion or leadership could be, this expansion of leadership could be something you're experiencing. Some of you could be having a breakthrough. Oh yes, totally. Yeah. Some of you could be having a breakthrough if you work on social media or anything that's public facing. This is a time when you might be going viral, or something you write could actually, change a lot of things for you in terms of authority, in terms of career, in terms of leadership, or in terms of audience, right? Something you write, something you communicate, something you put on social media, something you publish, a conversation you have could really increase how out there you are, for those that this is relevant. For a lot of you, this career push, this career change is being driven by, did I already say this? Is being driven by a change in thought and change how you think, or a conversation that you possibly could be having, or again, you writing more, thinking more, communicating more, understanding all of this more, or putting yourself out there more. Some of you could be changing homes for sure, starting to ask yourself, what does it mean to feel emotionally rooted, to have a base, to feel emotionally safe? What is family? What is home? And this could be causing some of the changes that you're considering in terms of career, and bringing new stuff here. Some of you will be receiving a new message to do with home. And this could be like approval for a new home, approval of a mortgage, decision to change and to move somewhere, decision to move in with someone, move out with someone, decision to buy a place, decision to change or renovate a home, and things like that. Okay, if you have any questions, please leave it below. And that's all I have for you, Gemini. Hello, Cancer, Cancer suns, Cancer moons, Cancer's risings. Welcome to your Pisces eclipse forecast. Please listen to the beginning because I go into all the layers of this eclipse that you need to know, and also how it relates to the soulmate, divine union, marriage souls, karmic archetypal story that is unfolding in the stars right now, including with this eclipse. All of that is described at the beginning. Without further ado, let's jump in. Cancer. For you, this eclipse could be bringing a massive travel opportunity, immigration opportunity, change in your spiritual belief. It's gonna be one of those for one of you. For some of you, this could even look like going back to school, getting some kind of higher education. For some of you, it could look like dating someone. For some of let's see here. Yes, for some of you, it could possibly look like some kind of an event to do with immigration, or you moving somewhere abroad, or you traveling to somewhere abroad, or starting to travel a lot more. And this is all because it's about expansion of your consciousness, and of your mind and your spirit through foreign lands, foreign concepts, foreign thoughts. For some of you, this could be coming from a change of worldview. This could look like a change of worldview, a change of your spiritual beliefs. That's coming from your values changing, or that's coming from some kind of monetary change. Maybe you got a lot of money. Maybe you invested in new stock. Maybe you started a business. Maybe you lost money. Maybe you started valuing new things. And this is somehow leading to A, the ability to travel, B, the ability to go to a retreat, C, the want to immigrate or move somewhere, D, the want to go into some kind of, return to education, higher education, or again, change the entire way that you view everything. With this eclipse window, you are going to be receiving some kind of message that plays a part in the story, or that is very life-changing in this time around this eclipse. This could have to do with siblings. This could have to do with neighbors. This could have to do with where you live. This could have to do with your job. This could have to do with something you see on social media. It could have to do with a communication or course or something like that. Or just like, a message, a text, a conversation that you have, that you will know what it is because it's going to be something somehow that is big for you, that brings on some change for you. Some of you are really having spiritual breakthroughs that you haven't had before. And for some of you, this could be feeling a little bit emotionally or mentally intense. Feeling like one day you're thinking this, one day you're thinking that, one day you're feeling like this, one day you're feeling like that. And things could just be feeling very emotionally and mentally unstable. And just know that it's okay. It will pass. But it's all to bring you through a breakthrough in terms of your mind, in terms of your thoughts, in terms of your connection to spirit, etc. And in terms of healing, some of you, if there's something in the past or trauma that you've always wanted to heal, suddenly you have what it takes to heal it, to make it happen, and maybe this is coming from the change in your monetary situation. Maybe this is coming from that deep conversation you had, or maybe this is coming from that tie to something foreign, big, or expansive. But either way, it's coming. For a lot of you, this eclipse is really about, it's like, this is the eclipse that sometimes makes people, where it's happening in your chart, in a sense, with everything else, like want to feel like they're breaking away from the matrix, or really understand like that the way you view the world is changing. The structures you thought existed no longer exist. You could be having, maybe your spirituality totally changed, your view of authority, politicians totally changed, your view, what matters to you in life totally changed, your connection to spirit or God, how you viewed that totally changed. For some of you, the communication that you're receiving, the message you're receiving, I said you're going to be receiving one because Mercury being in your third house. It could also be a mental breakthrough that you have. It could also have to do with investments, stocks, money. It could have to do with things from the past, things that are hidden. It could have to do with siblings. It could have to do with traveling, visa, immigration. It could have to do with higher education. It could, any of those things. Okay, Cancer, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. Don't forget to listen to your sun, your moon, and your rising. Hello, Leo, Leo suns, Leo moons, Leo risings. Welcome to your Pisces lunar eclipse forecast video. Please listen to the beginning where I go way more in depth in terms of all the different aspects that make this eclipse powerful, and how, of course, it ties the soulmate, marriage, souls, divine union, archetypal story that is carrying out in the sky right now, if that journey resonates with you. And without further ado, let's jump into what this eclipse is bringing up for you. Leo, this eclipse is going to feel very intense for you. You're probably already feeling it. It might feel like a very, very big death and rebirth. You could be going through the death part now. You could be going to the rebirth part right now. It's a very spiritual eclipse for you. It's a very eclipse that might feel internal, even though things might feel chaotic in the external. It is an eclipse that can bring death and rebirths in many ways, both literal and metaphorical. It's like the phoenix rising energy, okay? And it's being driven from massive changes happening in terms of your sense of self and who and how you are and how you show up in relationships in the world and what you want to leave in the world and how you view yourself and how other people view you and how you interact with the external and how you're showing up on this planet. And also sudden changes that have been happening, maybe in terms of your long-term goals, your long-term visions, or maybe in terms of your community, your friends, and a sense of belonging, and lots of changes having to do with that. For a lot of you, this could be a chance to purge a trauma that's held you back in the past. For a lot of you, this could be actually breakthroughs or changes happening to do with spirituality, connection to spirit, to something deeper, to the metaphysical, to the occult. For some of you, this could have to do with healing and really purging and transmuting dark into light. For some of you, this could have to do with intimacy and sex. I'm thinking of censorship or something on this platform. You get what I'm saying? But in a very spiritual sense, in the sense of merging of souls, of intimacy, of vulnerability, of the merging of souls. Some of you could meet someone that brings on this intimate vulnerability, healing type of energy. Some of you could be getting a sudden message or a sudden mental breakthrough or information that changes things for you in terms of money, in terms of assets, in terms of investment, in terms of real estate, and in terms of monetary value and things like this. Some of you could be yearning for a place where you feel like you belong amongst different people. We want to be surrounded by a community that feels more like you, but you've been maybe changing this a lot, or things have felt very unsteady a lot, or where you thought you had that, there was a sudden change that saw that you didn't. Some of you could suddenly be meeting the right people that feel more like soul tribe, or have found a community or a place that feels like that, or you could be making a change to go into that direction. For some of you, this could have to do with taxes, debts, and otherwise. It could be ending a cycle if you owed money, if you owed things like that, where you pay that through. Some of you could also be receiving some kind of inheritance or money from someone else, including like an investor or something to invest in something. Or people around you could be supporting you somehow, or you could be supporting people around you. And this is all tied to fate unfolding. For some of you, like I said, you're going through a death and rebirth depending on where you are in that cycle. And this eclipse is a transmutation process, right? Some of you could be experiencing changes to your beauty, your physical appearance, your body, that could be triggering a lot of this death and rebirth period. Okay, Leo, that's all I have for you. Don't forget to listen to your sun, moon, and rising. Don't forget, this is a general forecast. So if you have any questions, please leave them below. Or if you'd like to do a one-on-one reading that goes so in-depth and analysis-wise into your chart, you can find the link in bio. Thank you. Hi, Virgo, Virgo suns, Virgo moons, Virgo risings. Welcome to your Pisces eclipse forecast. This is an all signs video. Please make sure to listen, since it is a general reading, to both your sun, moon, and rising, prioritizing your rising. Please also listen to the beginning, where I talk about all the important aspects and themes of this eclipse that are going to be playing a part in how I am forecasting for you, including the soulmate, soul union, mirrored soul, divine counterparts, twin flames, whatever you want to call it, archetypal journey of the Psyche and Eros story that is unfolding in the sky. I talk about that more in the beginning of this video and how this could forecast to you into your life if it's something that you resonate with. But without further ado, let's jump into your Pisces lunar eclipse forecast, because you're already feeling this energy, I'm sure of it. So for most of you Virgos, this is bringing a change in relationships, partnerships, and marriage. For a smaller number of you, this could be business partnerships, it could be contracts, it could be clients, etc. But for majority of you, it's going to have to do with serious partnerships, soul connections, love, marriage, etc. So for you, you are having a sudden breakthrough in terms of who you are, in terms of how you've been playing a part in relationships, in terms of what you really want, and what this breakthrough will be, will really change, will really be dependent on the chart, etc. And it's a change in the way you've been thinking, etc. And for some of you, this could be pulling you to reach out to someone, or to have a very important conversation, to send an important message, to ask an important question, or to give an important answer, fueled by this change of self, or fueled by you wanting to take control action when it comes to relationships, etc. For some of you, this change to do with relationships, marriage, status, soulmates, all of this stuff could be being driven by your mind in your spirit, right? An expansion of all of that. This can come and you've had you've done a lot of healing of your mind, or you realize the need for healing in your mind, or some of that is being very apparent, or you've been getting intuitive downloads, intuitive dreams, and it's affecting this eclipse fate that's happening with marriage, with relationship. Now, what do I mean? Okay. Whether you are single or you're married, an eclipse like this in the 7th house being, driven by Jupiter in the 12th, opposing the sun in the 1st, with Uranus in your 10th, which has to do with career, leadership, purpose, etc. This could look like, if you've been single, suddenly meeting someone. If you're single, suddenly meeting someone that's perhaps more aligned because of all the work you've been doing when it comes to yourself and your values. Or it could look like you having relationship breakthroughs, even if you don't actually meet someone, that then set the seeds for you to meet the right person, because you've changed how you view yourself or how you show up in relationship, either in a good way or a bad way. Like if you were an overgiver, or if you were self-sabotaging because you're scared of vulnerability, this eclipse fixes that. This could look like if you're in a relationship, getting engaged. Indeed, I have 2 clients engaged. I know some. One is, I know, going to be engaged within 30 days of this eclipse, one 30 days before. This could look like getting married if you were engaged. I know one that had a sudden wedding within a month and a half of this eclipse. This could look like if someone from the past, right? Because this eclipse is the last of a Pisces Virgo cycle, the last Pisces one in this cycle that has been happening since 2024. So if you've had any unfinished relationship business with someone since 2024, this is bringing up that story for a new fresh start, or breakthroughs to do with that. You're having those breakthroughs because it's happening in your 1st house, and you might be communicating it, or it could be causing a conversation, or you are the one who's taking action because it's Mercury over here. For some of you, changes to do with love life, let's say you got married, are forcing changes to do with career or purpose or things like that. And it could be very sudden. Some of you could and vice versa. Some of you could have a sudden change in career, and sudden change in leadership, and sudden change in purpose, as well as an expansion happening in your mind and your connection to God, and to your mental health and your spirituality, as well as sudden realizations about yourself and about what you want. And all of this is bringing some kind of relationship change, marriage, engagement, reunion, reconnection, meeting someone, but it's all tied together, right? Some of you could be getting promoted. Some of you could suddenly quit a job. Some of you could be getting a sudden job offer. Some of you could suddenly be wanting to do something else. Some of you could be feeling like you've had you're getting intuitive breakthroughs in terms of how to heal things from the past that have always held you down, in terms of how you may have been your own worst enemy, or you're just feeling more connected to God. Some of you could be receiving a sudden message or having a conversation that makes you realize all the changes you want to have in your own life, etc. This is a good time if you want to do things to do with your appearance, procedures, weight loss, things like this. A good time to focus on that. Some of you will receive a message, a communication, or a piece of information that really changes your life, whether it has to do with where you live or your purpose or who you are with, because it's hitting an angular placement. But you receive some kind of a message, or you have a message, or you're sent it, or a conversation that really changes things like that. What else? What else do I have for you? Yeah, so big thing is this is really bringing a fated change in relationships, whether it's a reunion, whether it's an engagement, a marriage, a divorce, a breakup. Just know that what's happening is fated. Okay. So trust. And if you're the one getting the hunches, you're the one getting the inclination, right? With the Mercury Cazimi happening in your first house, Mercury is communication, first house is self, the sun, and Cazimi is Mercury touching the sun. The eclipse is happening in the seventh, the other. It is really kind of asking you to instigate. Now, if this event has already passed, like say you're one of the ones who got married within a month and a half before this eclipse, you were probably a big instigator of the getting married part of, or maybe of the date of it, etc. And now what is happening is continued changes in what that relationship might look like, or you're seeing how this eclipse is also bringing realizations in who you are in relationship and what the balance of dependence and independence is for you. Events that are happening to bring that into balance, right? No matter which way you are balancing. And, or it could also be bringing like, okay, now that I'm married, or now that I'm in a relationship, or now that I'm engaged, or now that I'm single, what does that mean in terms of the career, my purpose, what I want to do, my leadership, all this sort of stuff. And a lot of this is like, you're simultaneously having a lot of these thoughts in the same time something is changing about in here. And in here could be connection to God, to the universe, to spirit, to faith, or it could be to your own mind, your own self, things from the past. All of these are somehow connected, and you're finally starting to understand how these are all connected, how they play into each other. Okay? But yes, changes happening in this time are supremely, supremely fated. Anything else? Some of you could like be getting a sudden client or a new project or new like purpose, career driven passion. And it can, with the aha moment change or the change that you have in that, you suddenly see how this could be tied to your sense of self, to your mind. And you see how maybe that was showing up, how you were showing up in relationship. Some of you getting in relationship might make you realize, I feel differently about what I've been doing in my life and how much I've been valuing career, what I value about career, etc. All right. That's it. If you have, some of you could actually be thinking of expanding or changing what you work as or how you make money, or what you output into this world. All right, Virgos, that's all I have for you. If you have any questions, please let me know below. Do not hesitate. And if you're still listening at this point, that means you like the video enough to maybe leave a like, a comment, or a subscription. It helps me so much. And I really, truly appreciate it. And don't forget to listen to Sun, Moon, and Rising, especially because this is a general reading. And if you'd like a more in-depth, very accurate one-on-one, it'll be like 5 million billion times more accurate than any general reading on YouTube, then you can schedule with me, link in bio. But because eclipses are so important, even if you don't schedule with me, I do recommend talking to a professional astrologer every eclipse season and every solar return. That is your birthday. Those are the most important times, in my opinion. And every like Chironic return, a Saturn return, these big events where I would say, if you don't meet with an astrologer regularly, that's when you should. Okay, if you have any questions about those too, leave them below. And now moving on to the romantic, the aesthetic, the idealistic, the sometimes overthinking, Libra. Hi, Libras. Hello, my dear, lovely fellow Libras, Libra suns, Libra moons, Libra risings. I am one of you. Let's get into your eclipse. This is your Pisces lunar eclipse forecast for the eclipse happening on August 27th, August 28th, depending on where you are in the world. All of that information and more you will find in the intro, including how the skies and this eclipse are playing a part in terms of the archetypal soulmate, divine union, divine counterpart, mirrored soul journey that a lot of people in the collective are archetypally connecting to and linking with. This will talk about that. This eclipse is triggering things in that. I have a video that dives into it more, but I go a little bit more in the intro. For the video itself, I will link it below. It came out for the last eclipse 2 weeks ago, but the themes of it are very active in this one and will play out for another 6 months. So do listen to that. Anyway, and you'll find every detail that makes this eclipse, every aspect that makes this eclipse unique and important in the beginning. Just know that that's what's informing my predictions. So do watch that. And without further ado, darling Libras, let's jump into your chart. So for you Libras, this eclipse is bringing fated change, fated breakthroughs. It could be endings of a cycle. It could be new beginnings. It could be good luck coming in. It could be intuitive hits. It could be destined events when it comes to your work, your routine, your body, your health, and for some of you, pets, but that's a smaller meaning. Yeah. That's basically it in those things. So for some of you, this could look like completely rehauling your daily life, completely rehauling how you take care of your body. Like it could have been like a sudden breaking point, made you realize, okay, something's out of balance and I need to make it balance. For some of you, this could look like events, changes that you're putting in place that you're being guided to that are coming from emotional breakthroughs or psychic breakthroughs in terms of output, in terms of servitude, in terms of how you show up in everyday life. For some of you, if you've been dealing with some certain health things, suddenly you're having a breakthrough. Maybe you're suddenly hyper-focused. Maybe motivation you didn't have before is there. Maybe you're guided intuitively into the solution and help to bring these breakthroughs, especially if it's been cycles that you've been going through since 2024. Now that cycle is coming to an end. So any health stuff that you've been going through, then there still might be health changes in the next 6 months, but it's like the end of that in a good way. It's closing that off. For some of you, if it's a career thing, things that kicked off in 2024, maybe a lot of the same lessons, a lot of the same energy. Now this eclipse is bringing a change in that, right? Change in how you're showing up with work every day, change in how you've been doing things, change in maybe how you want to do things. Now, if you are maybe dissatisfied with both things to do with your body and your routine and how you're showing up with work and what you're doing for work, maybe working with clients, working with employees, just work overall, your output, what you're creating, then I would lean on your intuition here, your emotions, not logic, okay? This is really asking you to lean on intuition, lean on logic. Sorry, don't lean on logic. Lean on, or balance, like see how intuition and emotions aren't bad for you and ask, how can I balance that with logic and grounding? Because the answer to the fix in terms of your body, your career, your health, your daily life, your routines, for you, my darling Libras, are coming through you being driven more by emotions and your intuition, but understanding how that can actually show up in a grounding way and how logic doesn't necessarily have to fight it. Some of you are having sudden emotional breakthroughs. That word came out of nowhere, but it actually does make sense when it comes to your view of life overall, to your view of spirit, to your view of God, to your view of what's important in life, to your view of what really matters, to your view of how you view the world and how you view life. Some of you could be taking a sudden international travel. You could have been in one country and bam, you're suddenly in the other. And this could be that you've had a sudden aha moment in terms of what matters to you, what's important, spirituality, or a sudden opportunity when it comes to immigration, or a sudden need to just travel, or a sudden whatever. But some of you could definitely be suddenly traveling internationally, or if it's not international, it's long distance. Some of you could receive sudden news about immigration. Some of you could be having a massive aha moment when it comes to your spirituality, when it comes to God, when it comes to your mental health, when it comes to your emotional health. You could be receiving a sudden message of something ending, or sudden secrets suddenly coming to light that will feel like a massive load off your shoulders once you find that out. Some of you are changing what your daily life looks like because you've changed. Like the changes that are happening because of your daily life, your body, your health have happened because you changed maybe where you live, or you changed your community, the people you're surrounded by, or what you value. And that's what's caused a lot of your daily life to change. Like maybe you're like, you know what? I want to get healthier. I want people who have my values more. I want people who live the same way. I want people who have the same work goals. And let me join more communities. Let me meet the right person. Let me change who I'm surrounded by. Let me maybe move somewhere else. Let me go travel somewhere. Let me take a retreat. Whatever. And that brings that. Some of you are having a breakthrough in how you think, or a breakthrough in healing your trauma or your past that have held you back a lot. Some of you are feeling pulled to communicate or send a message or have a conversation that will feel very emotionally healing and freeing. Some of you are having a sudden breakthrough in how much you've been overthinking and in your head. Stop. This is saying stop. And you're having a sudden change in that. What else? What else? Libra, Libra, Libra. Some of you, a reawakening to a long-term goal, a long-term vision, a long-term want that you've held that's passion related, that's emotion related, that's maybe related to a dream you've had from when you were younger, is what's reigniting this change in the balance with work, or this change in your daily routine, a change in how you, or your work life, change in how you show up every single day, maybe even change in your physical, whatever, health routine, work routine, etc. This reignition of a dream, a long dream, is driving a lot of that. For some of you, that's being driven by the change in your worldview, the change in your spirituality. For a lot of you, you're feeling more connected to God, or you're having some sort of like, if it's felt like there's been a mental fog that's felt really low and kind of hard, suddenly you feel a sudden illumination, a sudden light, a sudden reconnection to God. For a lot of you, like I said, your intuition, connection to God, connection to spirit is incredibly important now. And you're being asked more to lean on your emotions, to lean on your intuition, and allow change to be driven from that place instead of purely logic or purely analyzing. Anything else? Okay, that's all I have for you, Libras. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to listen to your sun, moon, and rising. If this was valuable at all, if you've enjoyed it, please hit like, subscribe. It helps me so much. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, leave them below. And that's it. I'll see you next time. Hello, Scorpios, Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, Scorpio risings. Welcome to your Pisces eclipse forecast. Please remember, this is a general reading, which is never going to be the same like a personal chart analysis. But because of that, it really helps to listen to prioritize your rising sign, but also listen to your sun and your moon. That should give you a whole kind of view. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Remember the timing of eclipse events unfolding. You'll find all of those details at the beginning, including the themes, lessons, stories, and changes in the soulmate, divine union, mirrored soul, twin flame, whatever you call it, journey that is in the collective for lovers who could resonate with that. The information for that is in the start of the video, but I have a whole video that ties into this Eros Psyche story that is being hit, both of these eclipses, this one and the one from 2 weeks before. Holy shit, as I'm saying that, Google just showed me the image of a blue butterfly as I'm recording that. Why is that valid? Why is that a thing? Because Psyche is associated with butterflies, and a lot of people perceive her with a blue butterfly particularly. I wonder if I could take a screenshot of this. Anyway, some of you listening to this then really have a message in terms of the Eros and Psyche journey to do with soulmates. And even if you're single or you're married, it's going to resonate to you in terms of, okay, where have I been blocking it, or where in either way, right? So listen to that for sure, because you're the only one where I've had this realization with. Again, it's in the intro, or listen, I will link it below in the description box and in the comments. Otherwise, let's jump into your forecast, Scorpio. Scorpio, for you, this Pisces eclipse is bringing big events, fated changes, whether internal or external, but you will definitely feel them and they will pivot your life in a different direction. And it's bringing these events and changes to do with entrepreneurship, to do with passion, to do with creation, to do with maybe flings and romance and sex for some of you. We love that. And to do with children. We love that too. Having children, conceiving, or things in the life of your children changing. And a lot of this, for a lot of you, it could be more a purpose, career, leadership story, or it could be a story to do with long-term dreams, communication that is causing a lot of this, friends, community, or it could be triggered by healing that you've been doing, purging that you've been doing, transmuting dark into light, or meeting someone that opens like this healing when it comes to intimacy, vulnerability, and how that shows up with how you view intimacy, flings, relationships, passion, your inner child. For a lot of you, this is asking you to connect with your inner child, joy, and your intuition, and how that might be driving how you create, what you create, passion, and how you find joy in everyday life, and even romance, right? If you're married, this is asking you to bring back, or in a relationship, and to bring back fun, joy, intimacy, to reconnect to the fun of it, the romance of it, the expressive nature of it, the fluidity of it, the emotions of it versus the thinking, the analysis of it. For a lot of you, this is saying like, okay, if the entrepreneurs of you, those who work for themselves or those who create or write, if you don't have a business or something, this is saying like, okay, you've maybe had breakthroughs or expansion or luck or changes or aha moments when it comes to wanting to be seen or or leadership or a new job or a change there or whatever. And this is changing. This is bringing a lot of that. Some of you are ending cycles in terms of how you did show up or in terms of how you did make decisions when it came to joy, when it came to your career, when it came to entrepreneurship. Some of you could suddenly get pregnant. If you're not planning on it, then I would, do what you have to do to make sure it doesn't happen, because this is a moon where it might, right? A sudden thing of passion or a thing like that could change that. Some of you are receiving news or a conversation or having a communication that has to do with a friend or a community. And it could be triggering a sense of belonging or a sense of you wanting to be surrounded by like-minded people or people who fuel your passion or fuel your joy or fuel your business in some sort of a way. Some of you, if it's relevant, are putting more things, communicating more, showcasing more things on social media. Yes. Some of you could be building an app. This is a very small number, or something to do with tech. Yeah. Some of you could be having sudden breakthroughs in terms of healing, intimacy, trauma, transmuting the dark to light, having conversations or thinking a lot about that. Some of you will be getting a lot of downloads and intuitive hits in terms of what to do, what to create, what to return to, passion, love. Some of you could be meeting someone or wanting to bring more joy and intimacy into your relationship. Some of you could be feeling like you want to be somewhere more around people where you feel like you belong. Some of you might want to reawaken an old dream that you've had that you were passionate about, or an old lifelong goal or a yearning that you've put on the sidelines, and you want to pursue it more, and you'd be getting a lot of signs to do with that. Okay, that's all I have for you, Scorpio. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Remember, this is a general reading, so listen to your sun, moon, and rising. If you'd like a more advanced, really deep analysis of your chart, link is in bio. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you in the next reading. Thank you. Hello, Sagittarius, Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Moon, Sagittarius Risings. Welcome to your Pisces lunar eclipse forecast for the eclipse happening in August. It is unfolding a story that can play out from a month and a half before to 6 months after, but you will be feeling this energy already, and it will be the most potent around the timing of the eclipse. Eclipse is not a one and done deal. It's something that can hit in many layers. For a lot of you, Sagittarius is what it is. So for a lot of you, Sagittarius, this eclipse is you changing where you live or your family structure. So for a lot of you, if you've been living in the same place, suddenly you move somewhere. And for a lot of you, this is being driven by either a change in relationship or a change in career. And for a lot of you, this could actually be an international move or a long distance move. So it's not for a lot of you, it's not going to be a short distance move, although for a small minority it can be, but that's more the minority if I'm really honest. For a lot of you, this could also be a change in your emotional foundation. For a lot of you, this could be a change in your family. This could look like maybe a family member you've had from abroad comes and travels to see you. This could look like you going to visit family or spending time in your roots, your home of origin with your family, and that requires you to travel internationally. For some of you, you could have someone from, I already said someone from abroad or for a long distance come visit you. For some of you, you had a sudden change in your relationship. Maybe you suddenly got married. Maybe you suddenly got engaged. Maybe you suddenly started dating someone. Maybe you suddenly went through a breakup. Maybe suddenly all of that happens now or is happening within the next 6 months. And that requires you to move where you live. Man, someone I know that means is going to move internationally from where they live. Okay, anyway. This will cause you or buy a new property or change your living situation or renovate it or something like that. Some of you are also getting news about your career, your leadership, and your publicity. This could mean getting communication that you're getting promoted, getting communication that you're getting a raise, getting communication that you're getting, fired or let go. I I hope that doesn't happen, but mind you, if it happens, I can promise you everything that happens in the eclipse time frame is happening for a right reason. So it would be happening to trigger a dominoes effect of things that are for your own best and greater good. Okay, Sag? So don't be worried if you're one of the let go fired people. Some of you are having sudden realizations about what you want to do with your life. What do you want to output? What kind of leadership do you want? What do you want to be known for? What do you want to work with? What is purpose in terms of that sense? Now, we shouldn't tie purpose with all of these things, but it's what the average person will think of that word. Some of you will also be having sudden realizations or communications if you have any type of publicity or social media. This is a time when you could communicate something that lands very well with other people, especially potential clients, or especially publishing, writing, virality. This is a great time for that. To be encouraged to go on there, to have breakthroughs to put stuff out, to communicate. Some of you could be receiving a message or having a conversation or aha moment or new information or a new course that changes down the line your trajectory in terms of your career and what you do and what you put out there. Some of you are having very big life changes right now in terms of how you view the world, religion, spirituality, etc. And this can also be causing maybe your change in terms of your emotional well-being. Like you could suddenly be feeling a lot more healed, a lot more connected to God internally. Some of you are healing a relationship with your mother. That's, I think, a more specific minority of you. Some of you, if you're single, you could really suddenly be meeting someone. If you're dating, you could suddenly get engaged. If you're engaged, you could suddenly get married. Some of you could be traveling internationally a lot because of a long distance relationship. Some of you could be looking at immigration and you'll have a lot of luck in that right now. Some of you could be traveling to a retreat that makes you feel more at home in yourself and more expansive and changes sort of your connection with God or your passion. Some of you, for some of the changes in relationship, I mentioned it could also be a breakup or divorce if it's not meeting someone, getting engaged, getting married. If that's the case, know it happens for a reason. Know it happens for the greater good. Okay. With the general chart here, it doesn't indicate one way or other. It just indicates that there is a change. There is a change happening in the house of relationship for sure. And it's causing a change in your home and your emotional world. Basically it. And for some of you, this could even look like, hey, I haven't been meeting the right type of people that I want to meet in terms of a partner. So I think I need to change either my emotional state or I need to change where I live. I need to go somewhere that's more aligned. Maybe I've always wanted to date, I don't know, an Italian. Let me go live in Italy. Or maybe something like that. Okay. Some of you, this is a very small number, a change in career I did say that. Yes. For some of you, a promotion or a change in career could be what's causing this change in home. Okay, Sagittarius risings, that's all I have for you. If you have any questions, please let me know below. Don't forget to listen to your sun, moon, and rising because this is a general reading, prioritizing always the rising and then the sun, and third place is the moon. However, the most accurate will always be a one-on-one chart reading analysis. You can get one with me or another astrologer, but the time that I always recommend people get them is eclipses because they are the doors of fate. They're super big. They play out for a month and a half before to up to 6 months after. And they're multi-layered, and also for solar returns, which is your birthday, and then big things like Saturn returns, Chironic returns, etc. If you don't regularly meet with an astrologer, that's when I think it's really important too. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know below. Please do like and subscribe or comment if you enjoyed this video. It helps me out greatly. Really, it's so motivating, and I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video. Hello, Capricorn, Capricorn suns, Capricorn moons, Capricorn risings. Welcome to the Pisces lunar eclipse forecast. I've been sitting here for I don't know how long, so pardon if I'm a little tongue-tied. Welcome to your Pisces lunar eclipse forecast. It's happening on August 27th, 28th, depending on where you are in the world. All the information, including the important aspects that I'm considering in this is an advanced astrological Western astrology take, very influenced by ancient astrology, Hellenic, East Mediterranean, Levantine, etc. You will find all of that in the beginning to understand the real layers of this eclipse, including the Soulmate divine union, divine counterpart, twin flames, mirrored souls, archetypal storyline that's playing out for a lot of you in the collective, whether you're single in a situationship or you're married or newly separated. There's lessons to do with the Psyche and Eros story that play out in different ways that are triggered with this eclipse and the eclipse before that happened in 2 weeks that will continue to play out for 2 months. To understand that, do watch the beginning, but most especially watch the video that just dives into that I will link below. I released it in the last eclipse. And if you have any questions, let me know below. And if you're ever interested to do a one-on-one reading, the link is in the bio, or you can go on PhoenicianPriestess.com. All right, Capricorns. For some of you, this is for some of you, look how excited I am. For some of you, this eclipse is bringing a change into your relationships with your siblings. For some of you, this could be bringing a change into your sibling's life. For some of, it could be healing the relationship with the sibling, or something that has been bothering them comes to the surface. That's like a death and rebirth, right? Like a phoenix rising. For some of you, this is actually going to be a really big breakthrough in terms of how you think, in terms of how you communicate, especially if you are, it's going to be either way, but it'll be very emotional if you're a Capricorn moon. And it will be more like being if you're a Cap sun. And if you're a Cap rising, it's going to be really strongly about thought and communication. But yes, this is going to be perhaps ending a cycle that has been trying to teach you lessons since 2024 in terms of how you think. And it could be trying to connect you more with your intuition, more with your emotions. You have a tendency to be more into the logic, into the practical. And this eclipse is triggering events and cycles to try, and it's been doing that since 2024. And this is kind of like the last attempt to try and break you out of that pattern, right? And so you could have already had this aha moment, or things that are happening are triggering this aha moment. And this will open up a lot of opportunity for you. This opportunity can be in terms of just overall life view, life happiness, spirituality, connection to God, or the feeling that you're finally able to communicate and understand that or bring it into your everyday life. This could also be for some of you in terms of work, in terms of your body, your health. You suddenly realize how it plays a part in all of that. And for some of you, this could be in terms of intimacy, vulnerability, sex. Damn it, I said the word. They say that if you say it, it can lead to demonetization. They say, but I should know because I work for the company where I'm posting this video on. So, anyway, I guess it depends on how well the MLM models are catching what I just said. All right, Capricorns, what was I saying? So, oh yeah, for some of you, this is like this change in how you think and how you talk in your mind and how you communicate. It could be leading to a change in intimacy and change of vulnerability. Like this could look like some of you, if you've always run away from intimacy or you've been having issues with intimacy, it could mean intimacy in terms of vulnerability, like emotional, or it could mean actual SEX. Suddenly this breakthrough in thinking and communicating, this aha moment, this leaning more into intuition and into emotion is going to really improve that and give you an opportunity to pick the fruits of that. Like, suddenly you connect to someone a lot more, maybe an intimate relationship, even more. Maybe you heal something within yourself, and it allows for future things to come in. Some of you are having a chance to pay off debts. I know it sounds random, but it's true. You're going to have luck come in. If it hasn't happened yet, it will come in the next 6 months. Pay off debts or get money that comes from other people. Somehow this could be an inheritance. It could be a wealthy partner. It could be investors for some of you. Or just paying debts or receiving a tax refund, actually. For some of you, you're having a change in health or work, and it could be very positive. Some of you could be receiving a message to do with moving somewhere or immigration or being accepted into higher education program, within the last month and a half, 2 months to the next 6 months, that change and pivots, changes your everyday life. It could change how you think, change what you output. Like it could look like, for some of you, this could be moving countries. Some of you could look like, I got into, Oxford. For some of you, it could look like, I'm going to a retreat in Bali, and it's going to change how you think, change how you process, how you communicate. Some of you it could just be a sudden aha moment. Like I said, you could be getting that message or communication. For some of you, it could be a sudden aha moment. Yeah, I see how my life view and world just changed, and it hasn't been part of my everyday life. And now I'm going to pull it into my everyday life, and that's going to bring it a change. For some of you, for a lot of you, listen to your intuition, your emotions. If you've been holding back what you think, what you say, a lot of you, this could be related to writing. Yeah. Like I really recommend in this time to write. Capricorns, write your thoughts, journal, do affirmations right now, assumptions, build your life this way. For some of you, a lot of you are being asked to see how you think and how you speak and how you communicate changes your everyday life, and changes your health, even your body, and changes your mental, spiritual, and emotional state and your relationships and everything. And you're being asked to bring that into your everyday and to change it. Some of you, if you're on social media, then this could be bringing a big event in terms of social media. You could be driven to post, to be creating, to go into publishing, to go into writing. There's definitely something about this here. For some of you, it could be processing some things that have happened in the past or some spiritual aha moments that you've had. You could be that could be fueling the urge to have conversations with people about it. Maybe someone that's related to some of those, or to share your healing process, or to share what you've learned from that. There's definitely a lot of you are feeling the urge to share more, or to bring spiritual practices into your everyday life. Some of you could be having a sudden change to your everyday life, to your routine, to your body, to your health, or you could be trying out a lot of new different things like that to your job as well. Yes, that's it. If you have any other questions, Capricorns, please let me know below. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It helps me out so much. And don't forget to listen to your sun, moon, and rising. And remember, this was a general reading. So listen to those three. And if you would like this way more in depth, then the link to work with me is in the bio, or I really recommend just working with another astrologer around eclipse periods. Okay, thank you. Hello, Aquarius, Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, Aquarius Rising. Welcome to your Pisces lunar eclipse all signs forecast for the eclipse happening the August 27th/28th. For you, Aquarius, oh, by the way, please listen to everything at the beginning, including all the special aspects for this eclipse that make it potent, and as well, including the soulmate, divine union, mirrored soul, twin flame, whatever you call it, archetypal journey that this eclipse is triggering. I have a special video for that. I'll link below, but I talk about it a little bit at the beginning. And just everything else that you want to know, timing, whatever, all of that's at the beginning. And do remember that this is a general reading, so listen to your sun, moon, and rising. Okay, so Aquarius, for you, this has to do with money. Okay? There, easy, done. Just kidding. Okay, so this is a closing eclipse for a cycle that you've had since 2024 that maybe has brought up a lot of questions, themes, emotions, intuition, or lessons for you to do with your values, your self-worth, money, assets, management of money, net worth, real estate, etc. So this could be bringing an event to do with money. For a lot of you, this event could be triggered by relationships, clients, contracts, marriage, etc. For some of you, this could be triggered with changes to do with entrepreneurship, working for yourself, your passions, your hobbies, children, for some of you. And for some of you, this could, at the same time, be to do with healing, purging, taxes, other people's money, like inheritance or paying for someone, investors, etc. But overall, your events are unfolding that are bringing a change in your assets, your net worth, and your self-worth. Why? Because in the spiritual world, those are linked. Your net worth and your self-worth are tied. Your value is what you value, and then how you invest and value are evaluated. You can see here evaluation overall. They are tied as well. So for some of you, this could look like a large sum of money coming in. For some of you, this could honestly look like spending money on a wedding. That's a big chunk of money, or combining money and finances with a partner, with a spouse, or an investor investing in you, or a lot of lessons or events, external events triggering changes and lessons in how you handle money, or breakthroughs when it comes to your job, your passion, things you created. Like if you're a writer, if you have a social media page, if you have a business that are expanding your wealth, or changing your wealth, or changing how much you're worth. Some of you could be receiving messages to do with taxes. Don't we all love to hear that? Or to do with inheritance, or to do with someone that you really care about, that you feel emotionally vulnerable with, or to do with healing. Yeah. So you could be having sudden breakthroughs in terms of how you get into your own way when it comes to building wealth, or breakthroughs in terms of how you get into your own way in terms of vulnerability and the merging of souls. Some of you could be having sudden change in terms of pregnancy, having kids, or a sudden change in terms of passion. Like you could be suddenly meeting someone that opens a chance for a romance or fling or a passion, or a sudden change in terms of what brings you joy and pursuing more joy in life. For a lot of you, this is truly a great time for relationship, expansion of relationship. If you're single, it could look like meeting someone, or if you're in a relationship, expanding that, moving in together, getting married, getting engaged, and it could be a lot of lessons or changes in pattern, or changes in how you were in terms of self-worth and what you valued that are coming from that. What else? Some of you, if you're having intuitive downloads, intuition pulls, or a lot of signs trying to push you in terms of one direction of what to invest in, what to spend money on, where to rebudget, then listen to that. Intuition at this point is going to be very important. For some of you, you're being asked to lean more into your emotions than thinking. And this has to do with both money, self-worth, and it also happens to do with how you live everyday life and joy, and also has to do with love and committing more to love. Some of you are being asked to remember your inner child and what brings your inner child joy. Some of you are having a lot of breakthroughs in terms of how your traumas or fears from the past, did I already say this one, have gotten in the way. You could also receive a message from someone in the past, or you could be wanting to communicate with them when you had a fear of vulnerability, or you felt very vulnerable with them, or they were related to severe trauma in the past, or to a very intimate connection from the past. Okay, that's really it, Aquarius. If you have any other questions, please let me know below. If you've enjoyed this, please feel free to like and subscribe. It helps me out so much. Remember to listen to your sun, moon, and rising, because this is a general reading. And if you would like a personal forecast, you have my link in the bio. Or even if you don't read with me, I always recommend for eclipses, birthdays, Saturn returns, Chironic returns, these sort of like big events, to meet one-on-one and have your chart analyzed, especially for eclipses, because they are the doorways of fate. They change your life. They change your life whenever they happen, and it's not a one and done deal. They unfold in varied ways over a period of 6 months, and it's part of a big story that has to do with your entire life. So if you have any questions, also drop them below. Remember, it's a general reading. Listen to sun, moon, and rising, and I think that's it. I will see you in the next video. Hello, Pisces, Pisces suns, Pisces moons, Pisces rising. Wow, this is an eclipse happening in your sign. So welcome to the Pisces lunar eclipse all signs forecast, where we're going to jump into this for you. You are the main player here, and I am a fellow one of you. So really happy to be talking to you today. Please, my dear Pisces, actually, you're one of the signs that maybe will not, maybe will, I don't know. Do listen. This is your eclipse, so you should listen to the beginning of this video. It goes into the different aspects that play a part of this eclipse, but also I talk a little bit about how this ties if you're on the soulmate, divine union, divine counterpart, twin flame, however you relate to that story journey, to the archetypal story that's being triggered by the celestial bodies in the sky, what's happening in the sky with the stars right now. If you resonate with that, then I talk about that in the beginning, but I have a whole video that dives into that I made in the eclipse 2 weeks ago, but is applicable for the next 6 months, that will really only dive into that I will post below in the description or in the comments or in both. Remember that this is a general reading, so please prioritize listening to your rising and then your sun and then your moon. And I talk about the timing of this eclipse and how to understand event timing at the beginning. So please listen to that so you don't feel disappointed if nothing has happened yet. Okay? Okay, let's jump into it. Pisces, for you, all the events that are happening in your life that have been even things that have been emotionally or in real life stirring for the past month and a half, and will continue for the next 6 months, are here to birth an entirely new version of you. In fact, this is a cycle that has started in 2024. You've been going through death, rebirth, mainly rebirth, honestly. And things have been pushing you in all different angles in your relationship, lessons to do with that, in your career, in your home. Why? Because this is an angular eclipse, and those are the things that really cause the change in the person. And it's been this like ping pong tennis match between your sense of self, who you are, how you view the world, how the world interacts with you, your body, your health, and all of those: career, purpose, output, home, family. What does that mean? Love, relationship. When's it my turn? Let's change it. love is happening for me now, whatever. All these things are tied, and it's been a continuous of that since 2024. And now lessons, breakthroughs, this is what I mean. And now this is the last eclipse in this Virgo Pisces series that we've had since 2024. So this is kind of like revisiting all those lessons, all those changes in the past for a big aha moment. For a lot of you, this is going to come for a change in your home. Maybe you've moved, maybe you're moving, maybe you change where you live. This, for some of you, this could be change in your family. Maybe you go decide to live closer to family. Maybe you fix family relationship. Maybe you expand your family by having children. Maybe you move in with someone, changes your concept of family. For some of you, maybe change with your family members that changes this. For a lot of you, it likely will be home and living situation there's a lot of change happening here that somehow triggers you, like in being more yourself, choosing more yourself, stepping more into yourself, or you stepping into yourself brought that change. For some of you, you could have been like trying to glow up these last 2 years. And the next 6 months will be like the epitome, the peak of that glow up, because first house rules appearance and how you show up in the world. For some of you, you've been having a lot of lessons or a lot of like relationship things that have triggered lessons in who am I? How do I show up? And what is my balance of dependence versus independence versus dependence, or of picking myself versus picking the other person, or of letting the other person impact how I view myself, right? You have Virgo in the 7th house. So for you, like you have a tendency maybe to either search for the perfect partner or to put an essence of perfectionism on yourself. You feel like you need to be perfect to have love, to deserve love, to keep the right partner. And this could keep you perhaps waiting or in the wrong dynamic or not allowing yourself to show up authentically, whatever. And you've been having a lot of breakthroughs, and this eclipse brings some massive breakthrough or event that really changes that story. It's like the ending point. I'm done with that. You really step into yourself. As a result of this, some of you could be having a proper change in love, because Mercury, who rules your 7th house of marriage, of relationships, of love, is in Cazimi, going into the heart of the sun. Mercury is the messenger of the gods. So a lot of this change that you've had in yourself, maybe it's played out in where you live, maybe it's played out in what you're creating or your career. And it's all just amplifying your energy, your essence, your choice, your self-authority more. This is going to bring now finally aligned love if you don't have it yet, or it's going to bring a reunion from the past. Why? Because if it's especially something from 2024 bringing forward, or things that have played a part, from the past to fix itself. Or if you've been in relationship, it might take it to the next level, to engage, to married, because of all these positive changes that you've had with yourself and how you've played them out in your everyday life, your home life, and in your career. But yes, with Mercury, the messenger of the god, touching the sun in your 7th house, Mercury who rules your 7th house, for a lot of you, you're going to be having an important conversation with someone that to do with partnership, to do with marriage, to do with relationship, like this kind of a partner. And for a lot of you who are single, this could be receiving a message from someone, receiving a message that changes things to do with you in terms of your relationship status. And how you handle that is going to be different now because of how you have grown into yourself, how a lot of these events have forced you to grow into yourself, to choose yourself. You're being asked to purge a lot of the cons of that Virgoan energy. Yeah. Overthinking, over sacrificing, being too hard on yourself, maybe even being too hard on them for some of you, and even the cons of the Piscean tendency to ignore red flags. And you're being asked to like unabashedly like choose yourself. And for those of you who have, this is bringing an elevated love, opportunity, change in home, and it's going to bring also change in career. This is an angular house eclipse. An angular eclipse. So this eclipse for you, Pisces, I cannot emphasize how for you, yes, it's happening in your 1st house, which rules your sense of self, your body, what you want to give into the world, how you interact with the world, how the world sees you. But it's so much more than that. It's an eclipse that in the next 6 months is going to change a lot of the architecture of your entire life, of this simulation, of this, whatever you want to think about it. And again, in terms of career, home, and love, they're all shifting with you with this eclipse. The initial seeds are being planted now. For some of you, could have been being planted, and you're not going to see, like, it's going to be like a dominoes effect, maybe not even a dominoes effect directly, like they could all be happening at the same time, and you're starting to understand how it's all linked. And it all comes back to more you, choosing you, embodying you, and being more aligned, making home and living decisions to do with you, making relationship decisions to do with you, making boundaries and boundaries and what's the other word I'm looking, balanced decisions to do with you, career decisions to do with you, stepping more into your true self. And a lot of you Pisces, like, it's important for you to follow your intuition, and your intuition nudges when it comes to those things. Anything else? We mentioned the important conversation. We mentioned that was likely happening to do with relationship, etc. Yeah, sudden change. Some of you could suddenly be deciding to rent a place out of the blue, to change homes out of the blue, to move somewhere out of the blue, to settle down. If you've been traveling around out of blue, there's like a sudden change. Or if you're living somewhere, there could be something that suddenly happens. Maybe you're the guy who owns your, I don't know, apartment asks you to move. Maybe you put an offer suddenly on a house. And it's maybe because you decide, you know what, I want to now resonate with the identity that I'm someone who owns a house. Because for you, Pisces, this is putting to death an old identity that no longer serves you, that you've been working through the last 2 years, and really birthing and stepping into a new identity. And this is going to change your life in every way possible, Pisces. And in the next 6 months, there'll be events hitting these 4 areas of life, but it all started with the changes that you've had in your identity, in your sense of self, and honoring that and putting boundaries around that. Okay. Big for you. Big for you. If you have any questions, Pisces, please let me know below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, follow another fellow Pisces rising here. And if you'd like a one-on-one reading, you can find the link for that in the bio on my page or on www.phoenicianpriestess.com. And since this is a general reading, remember to listen to your sun, moon, and rising. Okay. Oh, by the way, Pisces, because Mercury, 7th house ruler, Cazimi, sun, because of that, this is a big love time for you. Maybe I didn't emphasize it enough. Lots of love. So if you're single, someone coming in, someone from the past, getting married, and with this square to Uranus, it's happening in the 4th house, but like, it can be like, we weren't talking to we're married within 6 months. I just met them to we're married within 6 months. We were having problems to we're all good and married within 6 months, to buying a house together, having a baby together. Like, it's going to be really fast. And so, so if you want to listen to the soulmate portion, the soulmate reading, then I recommend it, because you're one of the ones who's going to be feeling mega relationship changes driven by respecting and sense of self. And that is part of the Eros Psyche story. And so the link for that, the Eros and Psyche video, which I made for the Leo solar eclipse, but it applies for the next 6 months, is down below or in the description box. Thank you so much. If you've enjoyed this video, please let me know. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I will see you in the next reading. Or maybe I'll see you one-on-one. Who knows? Okay, ciao.